Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Geek podcast, where we celebrate geek, nerd, and pop culture. Each week, we deliver the best analysis for fans, by fans, on anything related to movies, TV, video games, comics, anime, and manga. We talk geek. And now, here's the Get Geek podcast.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to another episode of the Get Geek podcast. How are y'all doing, Hode? Well, I'm just going to do that again.
Don't do it again.
How y'all doing, Ode?
Just put this in there.
Doing Ode? I'm doing really well, Ode. I'm doing well today. I'm Jose.
This is Wolfie.
AJ. And this is Walt.
A very coffee-deprived Walt.
Yes, very, very much so.
Yeah, I think we're all a little bit coffee deprived. It's pretty early in the morning over here as we record, but we're so excited about the stuff we're going to talk about today that it doesn't matter. We're going to push through this. So anyways, let me do our quick disclaimer so we can jump right into the episode. As always, we are recording remotely, so if there are any sound issues or artifacts, please let us know. Some of you may have noticed some issues with the episode this past week. We are sorry. There were some issues where the downloads weren't working properly. That should be fixed. And if there are any issues that you hear on any previous episodes, please let us know. You can email us. You can check us out at Instagram at Get Geek Podcast and send us a DM there to let us know if there are any sound issues or artifacts. And we thank you for any feedback. Of course, the best way to support your favorite podcast is to like, rate, share, and subscribe to your favorite podcast. You can find us where all of your favorite podcasts are sold. So please like, rate, share, and subscribe to the Get Geek podcast in order to support your favorite podcast crew. Anyways, what are we doing today, guys? What's the episode all about?
So today we're doing another Geek Out. And for those of you guys that are new to Get Geek and our Geek Outs, what a Geek Out is, we just kind of meet up virtually as we are at the moment. And I guess probably for the foreseeable future, although it'd be kind of cool to get back into the Talon's studio to do a live Geek Out soon.
Yes, sir.
That'd be really cool. But we just
we're all vaccinated now, right? I think everybody is vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean we are. I'm down to get tested just to do a live in studio recording.
I got the mic. I got
if
the.
You guys are.
I got the thermometer, the like forehead thermometer that we could use to check people in.
I'll take that. I'll get the sign. I'll get the sign-in sheet.
There you go.
So we gather up and we just take turns geeking out over whatever geeks do, and that's talk about anything that's driving them crazy now and stuff. And I'm gonna go first. Unfortunately, you will not hear me throughout the podcast because I will be stepping out after my geek out. I have adult duties to attend to, unfortunately. Not that podcasting is not adulting. It is nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got a podcast now. But I have two geek outs. One is a kind of like a minor one.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is a very major one. Major for me. Okay, I don't know about the rest of the crew here. And it's funny because the second one I wanted to kind of geek out over last time we all met. So I don't know if you guys remember.
So there's a thread.
You probably don't remember
for weeks now.
I don't remember, but it actually kind of it actually works out perfect that I didn't geek out over it last time.
Why is that?
I'm intrigued.
Is this something that got
intrigued.
like released or updated soon or recently? Drop it on us.
Oh no! I mean,
hit us with it.
Hit us with it. Well, I'll hit you with that one second.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The first thing that I'm gonna geek out over is this new manga that I'm reading,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Spy Family, and I'm holding up the book here.
Oh, that looks cool.
On our video chat. It's kind of a cool little quirky manga.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting manga. It's not like one of those like super action packed mangas that I'm used to reading. I like to read like adult manga and very like you know,
like
like
shonen
world is coming to an end,
battle manga and stuff, right?
death and guts, and it's either that or it's giant robots, aka Gundam, right? So, but I was at Kinokuniya a few weeks ago,
Nice.
actually like a month ago at this point, and I
That
picked
place
up
is
some
so
books,
cool.
and I picked this one up, and I haven't actually started reading it until, you know, because I just kind of picked it up because it was on the shelf and it looked kind of interesting. It was a new release,
Mhm.
and I was like, you know what, let me just you know, like roll the dice and check this out. So I picked up the first 2 books, and I have fallen in love with it. It's the story of it's a very lighthearted manga, by the way. So that's the thing. It's completely different from what I'm used to reading. It's the story of a master spy who is tasked with infiltrating the enemy country's organizational structure in some way,
Mhm.
and essentially take out the like one of the main operatives there.
Huh. So
However,
like John Wick.
it's sort of.
It's kind
But
of
if he wasn't
However,
focused on the dog.
is that character
no,
on
no,
the
no,
cover the
not at
main
all. So
character?
check this out. So, oh no, well, that's the second book. He's in
Okay.
the cover of the main one. Yes.
Okay. You
Damn, I
can look
probably
at
should have had this one so I could show it to you.
you can look for
Super
that in a
cool looking
minute,
characters.
or I can look it up on the internet. Go ahead.
So the thing about this operative is that he's a super secluded person, and so there's no way to get to him except through this very prestigious elementary school that he is a, like, I guess a like some part of the organization of the school.
He's like an
So in
administrator or
order for
something.
him to
Mhm.
something like that. So in order for him to get to this guy, he has to infiltrate the country and pose as a family man and get his child into the school, and then make the child become best friends with that person's son so that they can come over and have like family, you know, get-togethers and stuff. So he gets him. Now here's the thing.
Okay.
So
He
the
is a
kid's a spy, right? So the
no.
kid's a spy also, right?
Here's the thing. So he is a master spy. He goes to adopt a child, and he happens to adopt
He
a
adopts
child.
man.
Yeah, he adopts a child. Is like, well, I need a child that's going to be able to get into the school, super
This
prestigious.
is
This, that, and the other.
madness.
The child is psychic, but he doesn't know this. And so the thing is that the child can read minds, and the child's favorite thing to do is to watch this show. Her favorite show is like this spy show. And when she read his mind, he's posing as just some guy that's looking to adopt a child, but she read his mind and she knows he's a spy. So she did everything to kind of convince him to adopt her. So he's like, wow, this girl's perfect. So he adopts her.
I'm loving this book already, man.
So he gets into the application. Then he realizes that for the application, they frown upon single husbands and like nucleus families. So he's like, well, I need to get a wife. So then he goes out on a secret mission to obtain a wife, and he bumps into some girl while he's with the daughter and all that. And lo and behold, she reads her mind. And this girl, she's like super shy, and her little background story is that she everyone's always asking about her, like you know, relationship status, especially her brother, who really cares about her.
Mm-hmm.
And to get him off her back, she says, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend. So then he goes like, oh great, I would love to meet him, you know, I'm gonna see him tonight. So then now she's like, oh my god, I need a boyfriend. And so the daughter reads her mind and realizes, oh, she's perfect, she needs someone for my daddy. So she gets them to kind of like fall in love with each other. Not fall in love with each other, but get together. But the caveat to her is that she's an assassin. So she's like a super ninja assassin with like
I was waiting for you to say something about.
She's like the sickest combat skills ever. And so, and the thing is that TV show that girl loves is about a spy chasing an assassin. So it's her two favorite things.
So this is like,
do they have a dog that's like crypt, like
oh yeah,
yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. No, they don't have any pets yet, but so far
it seems like
it's
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It's one
or
of those
something.
things that's kind of like it's kind of like that, except that they don't know. He doesn't know that she's an assassin. He thinks that she's just a maid, and she doesn't know that he's a spy. She thinks that he's just like some like computer guy or something like that. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, wasn't that
You
Mr.
know?
and Mrs.
It
Smith,
sounds
right? With Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
was
I guess
just
so.
about to
Yeah.
say that.
But with like,
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
right.
family version. It's the family
Yeah.
version.
but Professor X is their daughter, I guess. That's like the wild card in this.
Exactly.
Or Jean Grey.
So-
Jean Grey, right?
Dang.
And the
So-
wife is Joan Wick, right?
John and Joan.
So like the book is like just it's one of those things that like chapter after chapter it's just so like it's fun, you know. I haven't had like this kind of emotion reading a manga in a while, just because of like it's like a situational comedy basically. Like
dope.
every chapter is like something new that's happening, you know. So like for example, like he sends her to part of her mission. He sends her to school and he's like, all right, you have to. He says you have to be a good student. You have to make friends with everyone. But in his mind, he's like, you know, for the sake of world peace. So now she's got all this pressure and this, that, and the other. But then her mom is teaching her like karate because she's like, if you go to school, you can't get bullied. She goes to school on the first day and she knows who she needs to be best friends with. You know, the son of this like guy. But then it turns out that he's like a bully, so he's a douche. And he like really like makes her feel really, really bad. And then she just remembers like where her faux mom taught her is like, someone tries to bully you, do this move. She punches the crap out of this kid, you know, basically puts him on blast, and there goes plan A to saving the world.
I'm looking at these covers. The art style is really cool, Walt. You got to.
The art style is really cool, and again, like the action in there is pretty cool. It's super, super funny. I highly recommend it. It's called Spy Family, and I believe it's if I'm not mistaken, is this person's first manga, but I may be wrong about that. But the story and art by Tetsuya Endo. So
Spy Family by Tetsuya Endo. It looks really cool.
So that's my first geek out. It was kind of a minor geek out. I know I rambled on a little bit there, but it got kind of a little overly excited.
It looks cool.
The second geek out is one that I really wanted to geek out over last week, but it's better that I geek out this week because now the geek out is greater.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known you guys for some time now, right?
Yeah. A few years now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Eli's not here, but I'm geeking out over the Melgar's success. You guys,
sneaky
you
minx.
guys are killing it. So for those of you guys that don't know, maybe they haven't talked about it publicly and stuff, don't know if you guys want to, but me personally, I have to give credit where credit's due. And over the pandemic, it seems like during the quarantine and everything, you guys really like hustled and got super focused in whatever your career paths and goals are. And with Jose, he got his was it Net Plus, A Plus,
yeah,
Cisco
IT
A
cert.
Plus certification,
basic IT cert, but I got an IT cert while the pandemic was going on. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm very proud of you. Thank you.
Eli gets into two audition art schools, not just one but two, and unfortunately he's not here, but I know that he didn't really want to talk about it, but so I'm not going to name the schools or anything like that, but it's not the easiest thing to get into to get accepted to even just one audition based school when it comes to auditioning creative work.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody that's a creator out there, you guys know how it is to put yourself out there. It's one thing to create, and if you're a writer, an artist, a musician anyway, it's one thing to create pieces of art for yourself. It's another to put it out there for criticism. And Eli put it out there and got accepted to the two schools, his two top schools that he applied to. So
tough ones.
That's kudos. And then AJ, which I wouldn't have been able to geek out about this last time because AJ, he wore the black gown and graduated from Queens College.
Yay!
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so, and not only that, but AJ's also writing now for New York Film Academy, and that's another huge thing. And all this combines to just, you know, an awesome story when you consider that the ultimate achievement of Walt doing his thing as dad, you know, with his kids, and being such an inspiring factor
Killing
and
it.
such a motivator, and you know, like, I don't know how much more successful you could be as a father. So
Thank you,
congrats.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Woo!
That's what I'm geeking out over. That's my major geek out.
Major geek outs. Thank you, man. We really appreciate that. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Up and onwards to everybody, man. Up and onwards to everybody.
hey, we're happy.
Yep, yep, yep.
We're happy that your business, the dojo, is, you know, stabilizing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, now that things are over
Yeah,
with
it's
the pandemic.
it's busier than it ever has been, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. You know, and like, it was tough for a little while for everybody. It was tough for a little while for you. So kudos to you, man. Like, you get freaking kudos
man,
for
thank
killing
you.
it also, like, for holding on and like finding ways to make your business viable. Well, all this was going on because a lot of people struggled. And I got to give you kudos
it
for
was
that as
tough.
well. Congratulations on your newfound success with the dojo being busier than ever, man.
Yeah.
The
But
dojo
now you guys
NYC.
know why I didn't want to. Now you know why I didn't want to miss the geek out this week. I had a little bit of a
There you go.
scheduling conflict, everyone. So, you know, we were originally supposed to record a whole day before and all that stuff, but I really didn't want to miss the geek outs. Yeah, that's the geek out for today.
We'll make sure
That's awesome.
Eli
Thanks,
hears
bro.
this.
Thanks.
We'll make sure Eli hears this for sure.
Well, let him hear it on the
absolutely.
podcast. Let him hear it on the
Absolutely.
podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Thank you, Wolfie, sir. Thank you, Wolfie, sir.
Anyways, I'm gonna pass it off to whoever's geeking out next.
I guess I'll
And
take the torch since you have to head out.
in my Richard Nixon double peace sign. Okay.
Chill.
Or Asian gang signs. Peace out, guys. Hope you guys enjoy
All
the
right.
rest of the podcast, and I can't wait to listen in on Monday.
Peace out, Wolfie.
Later, bro.
You hear that, guys?
Later.
Mondays is when we release. If you're new to this podcast, every Monday.
Monday. That's the only reason to look forward to Monday
Monday.
ever.
Peace out.
Peace out, brother.
Bye.
Man,
Peace out.
that was a fun geek out. I'm feeling very proud and humbled and grateful and thankful to Wolfie, who again is also a good friend of the family and an amazing businessman. And he's got an awesome dojo, the Dojo NYC, that y'all should definitely go to if you're in New York or the Brooklyn or Queens area. That's an awesome school. He runs an awesome program there. He's got some awesome instructors, and just everything about it is awesome, and you should go there. So, but anyways, after that quick plug, after he plugged the Melgars, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to geek out, and I'm going to tell you guys what I've been excited about over the last couple of weeks, because we were off for this Memorial Day. We decided to take a little break and give you guys a little bit of a break and let you catch up on some older episodes. So let me get started. One thing I'm geeking out about in this past week is I've jumped back into No Man's Sky. There was a recent update that's really pretty. It's a lot of it is aesthetic. It's a graphics update, but they added like new reflections, lighting, just all sorts of really, really amazing graphical updates and things of that nature.
What console are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on the Series X, which is awesome.
Okay.
I don't,
very, very nice.
I don't think the update is available on Xbox One or PS4. I just don't think that they have the horsepower to run some of these lighting effects and things like that. So it got an update on PC, on Xbox Series X, and on PlayStation 5. And visually, it just really looks stunning. So No Man's Sky was one of the games that I really wanted to play when I first got my Series X, because it did have some really cool Series X updates. But I had been playing it on the Xbox One, not the One X, prior to that. And the update was nice. The frame rate update is amazing. I've decided that every game that I possibly can, I'm going to try to put it in performance mode, because I love that 60 frames per second. It's buttery smooth. So cool. and the graphics definitely look better. Lighting and stuff like that were amazing. But now, like, they have like colored lighting and a little bit of ray tracing effects, and it's really actually it's the first game where I'm playing the Series X where I'm like, yes, this is what a next gen console game is supposed to look like. Because everything else, again, just a little shine on some other games, but this is really, really cool. And if you haven't played No Man's Sky, it's a really, really great game. It's available on Game Pass right now for free if you have Xbox Live Ultimate Game Pass. You're just exploring space, basically. And the update not only added some really nice graphical effects, one of which is, it was kind of odd to me before, when you flew out in space, you didn't really see that many stars. And now they added a star field to it. Little things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, little things like that. Just like the 3D and everything like that just looks a little bit smoother. But they also added the ability, apparently, which I haven't tried out yet, to ride flying animals. So
I saw that.
Yeah.
That looks interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally silly and totally weird, but the thing about No Man's Sky that's really cool is it's been a success story in terms of a game that was plagued with issues at launch, just bugs.
Yeah, at the very beginning it was bad.
You played it early on, I think, right? Isn't that something that you mentioned?
I did buy it early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did buy it early on because it was one of these games that I've always been fascinated with the fact that if you fly into a planet and you leave a planet, I've always wanted a game where there was no cutscene of me leaving the planet.
Yeah.
Like everything was done in game, and that was kind of the allure for me. But yeah, at the very beginning, it was really, really buggy and really messy. And like you said, great success story because they've made it into one of the best games out there now.
Yeah.
You know, they really, really have.
Yeah, they the live service model that they use has received a lot of flack from when other companies use it, like EA and things like that. But oh man, I got to shout out the company that created this. Sometimes I forget it because it's not one of the bigger developers. If you'll excuse me, I'll look that up very quickly. Another thing they added to the game, by the way, recently, I'm just going to shout this out, is they added the Normandy from No Man's Sky, which is freaking awesome. But yeah, this game has been...
You mean from Mass Effect, right?
Excuse me, from Mass Effect. Yes, not from No Man's Sky. Yeah. That's the game I'm talking about, from Mass Effect.
That is awesome.
Yeah, you can actually purchase and fly the Normandy from Mass Effect, and it's one of the coolest sci-fi spaceships ever, I think. So that's really, really exciting. But, you know, they added that. They added a couple of other really, really great features to the game as of late. And it's been a success story for the live service. And it's really something that I'm looking at to kind of see what happens with games like Cyberpunk 2077. You know, I want to see if Cyberpunk 2077 can recover in the same way and really become just a fantastic and epic and wonderful game like No Man's Sky has become over its live service, its time as a live service. So the developer...
Well, the Cyberpunk developers have said that they're going to continue to support it and try and build it and fix it out. Yeah. So that there's some hope there.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely some hope there. And if they can achieve half of what Hello Games is the developer, a smaller developer.
Oh, okay.
But they're definitely on the map now with this because they're just introducing great content to No Man's Sky and great updates and really, 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 really turning this into the game that everybody envisioned at launch. So all is kind of forgiven for No Man's Sky. So moving on, I'm going to jump into... I have a couple of geek outs. This one will be short because it's kind of just anticipation. I'm really, 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 really looking forward to the Eternals. This has been the Marvel movie that basically after Spider-Man Far From Home and after Infinity War and Endgame and all that, you know, I was excited about some of the shows. I was excited about WandaVision. I'm excited about Loki as well. Certainly it's coming out this week, this Friday, I think, as we record, this coming Friday. But the Eternals has been for a while the thing that I've been really excited to sink my teeth into. I think it's because this is going to, unlike any movie before, even Endgame and Infinity War, this movie is going to change the Marvel Universe. It's going to change how the MCU kind of deals with its characters. You know, when you're adding the Eternals and the Deviants and the Celestials into the main storyline, not just mentioning them or showing them like they did in previous Marvel or MCU movies. You're adding all this incredible lore that wasn't there before. They're going to show what the Eternals were doing when Thanos was wreaking havoc on the universe. And
Yeah, that's a big thing that everybody's been asking about.
Yeah, because they had the power to do it,
Because
to stop him before he got the
absolutely,
Infinity Stone.
and it's and the trailer does seem to suggest that now they're going to be playing a more active role in the MCU universe, which begs the question: why?
Yeah,
why did you wait until after Thanos happened? So that's going to be a very big thing. Is there something greater than Thanos that we are not aware of? That's going to be interesting,
right? Maybe we're going to start getting like Beyonder references, or the High Eternals, or like you're just going to get all kinds of crazy references to different characters, probably different Marvel cosmic level characters at this point, and I think that's why I'm super excited about it. Plus this cast, I mean, Angelina Jolie, John Stark, Kit Harington, Millie Bobby Brown, Richard Madden, who also was in Game of Thrones. He was Robb Stark, Gemma Chan, Kumail Nanjiani, who got super jacked for this movie. Salma Hayek, like, who else? You got Brian Tyree Henry, who I've mentioned before. I love him. He's a fantastic actor, wonderful actor. And he's in this movie as well. So I just wanted to give a quick mention because, the trailers have dropped recently. They had a couple of trailers that dropped and showed us a little bit more of what the film's going to be like. I mean, not to even forget that this movie is being directed by Chloe Zhao, who just won an Oscar for Nomadland. So there's just so much to look forward to. And I just saw a video where she talked about how much freedom they gave her in this movie to make the movie that she wanted to make, and she's really excited about it, sounds like. So it sounds like this might be one of those maybe like lightning really strikes in the right place type movies for me, and I'm really hoping that this is a home run, and I can't wait to see it. Comes out November 5th, 2021, so we're still a few months away, but the trailer's got me excited. That's all I got to say. All right, so I said that was going to be relatively quick. I want to move on and let you guys talk as well. So I'll make this one semi-quick as well because I haven't seen that many episodes yet, but I have been digging my way into the new season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that just dropped on Netflix, the dub. Diamond is Unbreakable.
How funny is that?
Yeah.
you can have a collaborative geek out here because I think AJ was going to be talking about JoJo as well.
I've only gotten in about 4 or 5 episodes, I think. I'm not 100% sure how far I've gotten, but I saw a few. I think it dropped about a week or a week and a half ago on Netflix. They dropped the new episodes. And yeah, AJ, it's hilarious so far. I don't know why. I just love. I didn't actually love Jotaro as a character. I know that's kind of blasphemy to some people. I love the voice actor. That's my boy Levi in Attack on Titan. But to me, I actually like the earlier Joestars were so much better, especially Jonathan or Joseph. Excuse me, Joseph. Before he became kind of a whiny old man, Joseph was the best, right? And
alrighty then.
Yeah, I love Joestar. He would just talk so much crap in his fights, and it was just so hilarious and so wonderful. But Jotaro wasn't my favorite character. I like his evolution here. I like what they're doing with him in here so far. And I mean, Josuke is hilarious. I love how he gets triggered.
Don't talk about his hair.
I love it. I love that he's so humble and chill and relaxed and cool and like even like submissive. They were bullying him in that first episode. And he was like, "Okay, sir." He was just fine with everything as long as they, I guess, didn't bother anybody. And then they made comments about his hair, and he just went off. Right? Isn't it hilarious how they kind of like make fun of his pompadour, AJ, and like that's how he goes crazy?
It is. There's actually once you get up to it, to me, it was a very interesting story as to why he gets so triggered.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure I got up to that yet. Like I said, I'm only a few episodes in, but I've been really enjoying this new season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure so far. And I had heard Diamond is Unbreakable is one of the more entertaining and fun seasons. I do want to go back, like I do with every anime that I watch, and watch the Japanese with subtitles. Normally I start with the sub, but a friend of mine introduced me to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and we started with the dub. So I want to get as far into this as possible and then work my way back. I think Koichi is a great character also so far. He's been a really, really fun character. And, I like the new stands that they've introduced. Again, like them changing over from Hamon power to stands in the previous arcs wasn't my favorite decision, but I like where they're going with it here. And I got to give a shout out to Josuke's like stand power. It's really cool and really, really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I guess this is a minor spoiler, but his stand has the ability to heal. But it only has the ability to heal everyone else. It cannot heal its user. So he can't use it to heal himself. And he can't use it to bring back the dead, which will be a plot point. I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil it too much. But so far, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable, has been really fantastic. I love the evolution of Jotaro. I love the introduction of Josuke and Koichi. I love the villains so far. The animation is even more interesting. I do love how they changed the animation in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure season over season a little bit. And yeah, that's my geek out. I'm going to pass it off to you, AJ, since it sounds like you might want to talk about this a little more. But if not, can you just jump into whatever it is that you're geeking out about this week, please, sir? Let us know.
So I'm actually going to talk about the meat and potatoes of my geek out, which, believe it or not, is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 2.
Okay.
The only difference with me is that I actually finished
Oh, okay.
like everything.
Oh, you finished the whole season?
Yes.
Nice. It's like 20-something episodes, right?
30, somewhere in the range of 39.
Nice. It must be really good if you binged it like that.
Wow. I liked this new season. I mean, the art style was pretty good, but I don't know. I really kind of liked last season's art style better, honestly.
Okay. I like how it's different.
Um,
I think season 1 is
yeah.
my favorite art style wise, but go ahead.
What is the other thing? There was one thing that they kind of talk about, and to me at least, it seems like super duper important as to why it's even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little disappointed that they don't go a little bit further into that. And it seems, at least to me, kind of unresolved. But I don't know if maybe that's something the next JoJo will kind of unravel. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, because it's actually something that's pretty important. I don't know if you've gotten up to this yet. Do you know anything? I'm just gonna say something completely odd. Okay. That thing Cupid has.
Have I gotten up to that? I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Whatever it is that you're talking about, I want to go watch it now because I gotta catch up now that you're talking about it and geeking out about it as well. I feel like I have to jump into it even more. But I feel like if anything, to address if they're gonna go back to this, it seems like they're good at connecting stuff from previous seasons. I mean, they had Dio around for like how many seasons? He just disappeared, and then they were like, yeah, he's back, and he's the main villain again. So they're good, I think, at tying stuff up in the show that happened a few seasons ago. I'm hoping that they'll do that same thing with this plot point that you're jumping on. Indeed.
And while I enjoyed this season pretty well, I don't know. For some reason, what I would assume to be the main villain of the season.
Mhm.
I don't know. He just wasn't as I didn't find him as compelling as past villains. Like, obviously, first and foremost is Dio.
Yeah.
Cars was also pretty cool.
hmm
And he has his own little thing as like the master of the stone men. But this newest one, I don't know. I mean, maybe it just has to do with the fact that the setting is a small town, so it's kind of like small town problems,
hmm
but like maybe dialed up 50 to 75%. But I don't know. It's weird.
His power is somewhat
Uh,
interesting as a stand, but also like it's not very OP, at least from what I've gathered so far. I don't know.
no, you are not up to the main villain.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
You're not. His stand can be pretty overpowered.
More than stopping time. Okay, I got to jump on that. I definitely got to jump on that. I loved how that basically was.
It's on that level
It just kind of
of
made me
messing with
wonder for a
time.
quick second
That's all I'm gonna say.
who did time skip first? Was it Hit or was it Dio? I wonder.
That is an interesting question.
I mean, that's the same
I'm
power.
tempted to
right?
say it's Hit, but the manga for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I'd imagine, has been out far longer.
Yeah, it's been out for a bit, so I don't know who got time skip first. We're gonna have to see if Dio and Hit want to fight and figure out who got that time skip power first. Oh man, now I really got to watch it. Now I really got to catch up. I'm gonna go watch at least 2 or 3 episodes after the podcast is over.
Yeah. So I guess to kind of wrap it up, it was still really good. It was still a pretty good season. I was hooked there. So passing with flying colors on that point. Just there were a few things that I at least feel could have been done better. But yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay.
These next 2 geek outs are going to be very short. I've progressed a little bit with running for my life in Far Cry Primal. So basically I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but no, I don't think I did mention this last time. I've been expanding my territory by taking down outposts. So I've been traveling further south on the map. Also,
Okay.
Explain what Far Cry Primal is for everybody.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
before we go
Far Cry Primal is well, it's your standard Far Cry game where basically you're shooting, you're I guess gathering resources and trying to progress through the story to get to normally there's a big bad, like you have the sub bads like Voss and they kind of have one for Far Cry Primal. His name is I think Ul. And that's going to sound like a strange name to you, but it's not so strange once you realize that it's set in caveman times.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
and it deals with. Well, Far Cry is known for its very psychedelic, drug-induced trips. You certainly get no shortage of that with the shaman that you recruit to your team. So basically, and again, a staple of the Far Cry games there are certain outposts, and you kill everyone in the outpost so that you can claim the outpost for yourself. So I've been doing that because I haven't had any idea how to progress the main story. In doing that, so
Mhm.
you start off in the north where, as I soon found out, things are relatively peaceful. Maybe you'll get ambushed by a wolf or some wild dogs, but you're pretty fine. When you go down south,
Okay.
oh God, does it suck? you run more. You run more often into bears, freaking saber-toothed tigers, cave lions, woolly rhinoceroses. If you get too close, they'll like go berserk on you.
That's
Like,
kind of
get the hell
interesting.
away.
That's kind of like more like. Did you ever play the first Far Cry? The very first Far Cry was a lot more
No,
focused
I
on.
haven't.
There were more animals and things like that in that first Far Cry. In fact, they were like some sort of like weird genetically engineered monsters on the island, which is something that's not really as prominent in the series other than Primal, right? Because you do have some bears and things like that in the other games, but there was a big element of like not just dudes with guns in the first Far Cry. It was actually pretty cool and a little different from where the series went after that.
Yeah. Shoot, what was I gonna say? And there's no shortage of like prehistoric stuff. Walt's favorite is in here. I think it's called Brontotherium.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Uh you have some other cool stuff like the woolly mammoth, the woolly rhinoceros. Um God, there was this one time I picked on like an elk and I was hunting it. And normally, when I'm hunting those kinds of things, I expect it to go very smoothly. But what ended up happening is that when I got too close, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come in for the kill now. Did not go as I planned because it ended up doing a donkey on me and started kicking me to death with its hind legs, and I actually died.
It's like when I got thrown off a cliff
like,
by a
Jesus.
bear in Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah,
I have a clip of that.
That surprise element. Whoa, what is that?
Mhm.
Even the elk are scary in this game. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Isn't it weird how the wolves come out of nowhere though?
Yes.
And they hunt as a pack, don't they? Right?
They're hunters.
Oh yeah.
Which yeah, it's
Like
scary.
sometimes they'll be lone wolves or in threes, but I've seen them in packs as big as 6. And it is really like I tried. I soloed 4 at best.
Mhm.
Like it's really hard to juggle, but you can do it. But 6 is just so overwhelming. I can't do it by myself. It's horrible.
Oh man.
And then the horrible thing about saber-toothed tigers, they like take away 3/4, almost all of your health in like one strike.
I mean, their teeth are like
So navigating the south is
it's like
like
your forearm.
super horrible. It's so bad.
Saber-toothed tigers were some of the most efficient killers in history. So I would hope that they would take away a big chunk of your health, or they'd just be big kitty cats and not scary at all. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, there was one time I actually saw this. There are actually some pretty interesting random interactions in the game. One time I saw a saber-toothed tiger hunt a woolly rhinoceros. Like I actually got to see them fight from a distance. That's something that, I mean, you kind of got starting from Far Cry 3, but I think in this one it was like it wasn't just it ran up to it and it went like scratch scratch. No, the thing jumped on its neck. Like it was really not sophisticated. It was really involved. And then there
That's
was
pretty
this
cool.
other time where two saber cats were fighting each other. And it was just like little things like that. I appreciate that. Like the wild isn't just static until you walk in. Like you can walk in on some of the weirdest stuff. Or
The way
not
the
the
game
weirdest stuff, like
systems
some of the
interact
craziest
has
stuff.
always been fun.
And funny story, I actually got my first saber cat pelt just from that.
From that encounter,
Yeah.
or
That's
what?
cool because you know what, it creates a world that feels lived in. It doesn't create a world like if you have those things like you were saying where it's like, oh, they're just kind of swiping at each other. It feels scripted that way. But the way you make it sound like it's like, it's really dynamic. It really feels like you're dropped into this prehistoric world, and it's like it's
Mhm.
actually there are things that are happening that don't happen because of you. It's just happening because it happens. And
It's Far Cry's
games like that are really, really awesome.
sandbox.
Like there
Great
was this one
sandbox elements.
time, also
Mm-hmm.
there was this hawk. It was a pretty big hawk. There was a pack of wild dogs, like just running through like the plains, and I could have sworn I saw a hawk just go and pick one up
I
and
can
just like
see that.
fly off with it.
I can see that. If it was small enough, a
Oh
hawk
my
would do that
God.
for sure. Because that would be a great meal for a hawk, and they're big and strong enough. Plus, this is a prehistoric hawk, right?
Yeah,
So
I saw a video. Yeah, I saw a video the other day of an eagle trying to take a kid away. So,
yeah,
that's definitely something that totally could happen.
it's possible.
Super crazy
Definitely.
stuff. And I guess I'll end it and end Far Cry out with I finally got back on track with the main story because lo and behold, I was just dumb.
There's a story.
Because yes, there's a story.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You just very rarely actually do the story elements in any of the sandbox games that you play.
Yeah,
You just murder people
Well,
in Grand Theft
actually,
Auto.
exactly.
I get that. Well, yeah, most of the time, but what I do now is I try to get the story out of the way first
Ah,
and then go ham. Like when you guys have been hearing me talk about GTA 5, I actually completed the story
okay,
beforehand.
okay. And then you go with all of your
Yeah.
acquired weapons and kill everything in sight.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood.
What was I saying? Oh, I finally found story mode. The thing that threw me off was that the waypoint for where I had to go was extremely similar to the last waypoint that I had to go to. So I was like, okay, why is it sending me there again? What, I have to talk to him again after I just finished talking with him? That doesn't make sense. Okay, maybe I have to
Is
wait.
it a different character or?
No, it's the same character. Because they use certain icons to represent characters, missions by this character that you're sent on.
Okay. Okay.
So it was in very close to the exact same place, and I was like, okay, maybe I have to wait. This is one of those timed missions, or I have to get rid of some of the outposts, and maybe that unlocks it. Turns out I just had to go there.
Okay. Just gotta hang out there.
This is so bad.
All right. All right.
And anyway, the last one. I've actually begun trying the first Mass Effect.
Did you guys
Woohoo!
did you try the new Legendary Edition? Is that what you're playing, or are you playing just Mass Effect?
No, I'm playing the first one on 360.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm playing Legendary Edition.
Same.
So,
Mhm.
yeah,
I just left the Citadel in Legendary Edition, so
I'm still in there.
What's it like for you so far, AJ?
Well, I'm sorry. I got to say this. It's a vastly superior game to KOTOR.
Is it?
But you know what? It's a different thing because
I mean, it came out later.
Mass Effect is really built. Yeah, it's really built on all the feedback that people had from KOTOR.
Yeah.
So they took KOTOR and they that was their foundation.
Mass Effect.
KOTOR was it was so revolutionary that it definitely was a first of its kind. So
you know what it is? To me, it was like Mass Effect was BioWare, which had made great games like Baldur's Gate. You guys know I love that game. I've talked about it before. They made great games like KOTOR. They've made all these great D&D style games. Mass Effect was the pinnacle of taking everything they had learned from those games and the feedback to create their first true AAA title. That's what Mass Effect is.
Yep.
And that's why it's so freaking great. Like, tell us more, AJ. It's awesome. Yeah.
Right?
What do you love about it?
It's just from the pacing, because one thing that really turned me off to KOTOR was things took a really long time to do, and it wasn't always clear where you had to go.
Sometimes.
In Mass Effect, it's pretty clear where you need to go. And it's not like you're waiting 1,000 years. Well, you didn't have to necessarily wait 1,000 years to fight someone in KOTOR, but it's just easier to, and then that's another thing, the combat mechanics. I like the fact that it's not just you put in a command and, oh, okay, the character doesn't attack. I like that you are actually doing the attack. So that's something I vastly appreciate to the older KOTOR.
Yeah, the real-time actual combat as opposed to the turn-based combat of older games. Or like KOTOR paused the game, but it was a little different. Yeah. And the first Mass Effect is actually the biggest weakness that people didn't like was the gameplay, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Was the shooting. They actually updated it in Legendary and made it better and smoother and faster. And it's much better. Wait until you get to Mass Effect 2. My goodness. The combat is so much better in Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you're loving Mass Effect now, wait until you get into the second and the third one.
The second one is...
You're going to blow your...
Second one is the pinnacle.
Yeah, the second one obviously is the better one, but the third one was pretty good. Have you you know what? Continue. I'm sorry. I don't want to jump on.
It's not hijack. I guess. It's just such a good game.
What was the other
exactly.
thing?
I know.
What was the other thing? There's more. Oh God.
So you had the combat,
the story,
you really liked.
The pacing,
the story. The story is really and that's another thing. The pacing with the story is also really good, and I think it sets up its problem rather well, in my opinion. I kind of like the whole, like, normally you're used to humans being like in the position of power when it comes to traversing the stars. That is not the case here, and it's actually a very welcome, I guess, diversion because of the way the council's set up. So I found that like really, really interesting.
I love the world,
and I'm actually
love it.
Where I left off, I was in it's called the Citadel, right? Where you meet with the council. That's where I left off, and
there's a lot.
Again, it's just really, really good so far.
A lot left in the game for you to explore.
Oh yeah,
I think the thing that's great about Mass Effect 3 is that they make some of the choices you make a lot more interesting. Because the first game you can be good or bad, but the choices are kind of generally the same. It was the third one where they kind of make you make these crazy moral choices that affect entire races, like the fate of entire races. Like, if you like how the choices and things like that are in this game and the combat, wait until you get to 2 and 3. It's going to blow your mind. And they're making a new Mass Effect. We got to say that. They're making a Mass Effect 4 or something. They are working on
They're coming
a new
out
one.
with a 4?
Yes, because they had Andromeda, was it? That wasn't as well received. It was kind of a spin-off, but they're coming out with an official sequel at some point in the near future. It hasn't been announced, but the rumblings have been there. And I mean, why the heck else would they release? I mean, it's a moneymaker, but there's a good reason that they released Legendary Edition. They're trying to like build up that hype for these games again. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't wait.
I gotta blaze through it at some point.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You should definitely. Well, you know what? It's good that you're playing the original. You can see it as it existed when Walt and I played it way back when. So enjoy, and then jump on Legendary Edition when you're done with all of it and play it again.
Yep.
All right, so
there's a vast improvement in Legendary.
yeah, for the combat in one,
you know,
absolutely.
Yep.
The graphics are a lot better too, but there are some weird things in the graphics, but that's because they use the same engine as the original, and they just updated it using that engine, which is fine. It was worth the money for me to just get back into the Mass Effect world and see some of the new stuff. Oh, one more thing I did want to mention. I know I'm hijacking this geek out a little bit.
No, I was actually pretty done.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to open it up, it's totally okay.
I want to let Walt speak, of course, as well, because it's his turn to finalize this. But the thing that I love about Mass Effect that's also really, really great about The Expanse is the science fiction, the world building, and the way they explain stuff in the encyclopedia. I don't know if you've dug into that at all, AJ, but I love the way that they explain things. It's like in the realm of science fiction where it is total futuristic sci-fi, but the concepts are rooted in real science. Like they just take it to another level, and it's just really, really cool how they do it so far, how they explain how the weapons work, how the spaceships work, how Element Zero works. Dig into that if you love lore and world building. All right, I'm gonna stop ranting about Mass Effect now, and I'm gonna let Walt go on ahead and close it out for us.
Listen, we can do a whole episode on ranting on Mass Effect because it is that awesome.
It is,
you know,
it's really good.
All right, I'm gonna start my geek out really, really quickly with just a piece of news that was in our Instagram chat the other day, and I have to mention it because I'm super excited about this. And Jose was the one that brought it out. Even though I saw it on Instagram, it's been kind of flooding my feed. But Donnie Yen, for freak's sake, is going to be in John Wick 4. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a person that was
cool.
perfect for that franchise. And it's funny because Donnie Yen is such a boss, and on his Instagram feed today, he dropped a little ditty of him doing some hip-hop moves, dancing in the studio. I mean, the man can do nothing wrong. He does everything perfect.
I have to look at this while you talk. I have to find it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you have to watch it because I mean, he looks like he's been doing that for like forever. And Donnie Yen, he's not a young man, so kudos to him for just dancing up a storm there, you know. So yeah, he's gonna be in John Wick 4, and he is going to be playing. You see it, right?
Yo, he's awesome.
Tell me, is that not awesome?
He's a B-boy.
Is that not awesome?
Up? He's a B-boy.
The man's got moves.
I think he's almost 60. He's like 58 or something.
Yeah,
like that,
I know.
Right?
And he looks like a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh man, this is great.
He dances better than I do.
He dances way better than I do. Wow. Okay.
Hell yeah. So props to Donnie Yen, who's going to be playing a friend to John Wick, an old assassin friend, of course,
so cool.
right?
Yeah.
But I really do hope that this is more than just a passing cameo for him. I hope they find a way to put him in here because Donnie Yen, I love you, man. You know, he is a fantastic martial artist. He's a fantastic actor, and the more that we get of Donnie Yen, the better, in my opinion.
He's one of the best ever lace it up in terms of martial arts action. 100%.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that. He's
absolutely.
He's definitely in the top of his profession when it comes to that.
And still doing it.
Again, super excited for him to be in John Wick 4. And I hope he has a meaty role, that we get more Donnie Yen in that. And hey, can I be wishful and say spinoff maybe? But hey, what do I know? Anyway. So moving on, my main geek out is a show that I watched previously in its initial run, and now I'm revisiting it with my family again because they've never seen it before. And to me, it's one of the best sci-fi shows, but not in the way that you would expect, because the first season doesn't give you that sense at all. And I'm talking about CBS's Person of Interest. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Jose.
Yeah. I have.
It's a great show. It stars Jim Caviezel, Michael Emerson is in it, and the fantastic Taraji Henson is a part of the cast. And to say that this show is terrific is an understatement. Just to give you a sense of how good the show is, the first season on Rotten Tomatoes scored, I think, a 66. And
I don't know how. I'm sorry to cut him, but I don't
no,
know how
that's
that
fine.
is like why 60.
And we're
Why?
in what, like 5 episodes into the first season. Now the show ran for 5 seasons. It's a total of 103 episodes. So like I said, the first season rated at a 66, but and one of the main criticisms of the show, at least for that first season, was that while the action and the story was fantastic, there wasn't enough fleshing out of the characters. But
Okay.
the creators of the show responded in kind and gave you seasons 2 to 5, which on Rotten Tomatoes score a perfect 100% for all 4 of the final seasons.
That's
So
not bad.
that just goes to show you, that just goes to show you how they've listened and how they really fleshed out the universe. Just to note, this was a show that was created by Jonathan Nolan.
Okay.
Executive produced by J.J. Abrams. So there's some major street cred there. Jonathan Nolan, if you're not aware, is the brother of Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan
Usually works with
and
him
they collaborate a
on
lot.
projects. Yeah, right.
Yes,
He's always
exactly
some uncredited part of it or partially credited. He's like a producer or something usually, and does a bunch of stuff.
He's a screenwriter, so he wrote
right.
he wrote right. So he co-created HBO's Westworld, which is fantastic. He also co-wrote. Well, actually, he created a short story that Christopher Nolan made into a feature film. That short story is now known in the Hollywood scene as Memento. He also co-wrote and collaborated with Christopher Nolan on The Dark Knight, The Prestige, The Dark Knight Returns, Interstellar. So, again, some major street cred here. And so, again, this is a show that starts out very weird because the first season gives you all the elements of a police procedural. It really, really does. It hints very, very lightly. Well, not very lightly, but it does make it an element of the show of a sci-fi element. But it doesn't really dig in until like maybe the back half of the second season. And once it does, boy, are you in for a treat, because it really, really goes from crime procedural straight up into hard sci-fi.
Okay.
And so the premise of the show is that you have Michael Emerson's character, Michael Emerson, famous from Lost, the TV show that ran on ABC for quite a while and was a major phenomenon in America, at least, right? He plays this reclusive billionaire. We don't know a lot about him at the very beginning, but he worked on a government project that was related to 9/11, where the government wanted a machine that was able to detect terrorist acts before they happen.
So it's kind of like a Minority Report kind of thing, a little bit.
Yes, except the precogs in that movie is the actual machine and the AI itself.
Yeah, it's totally different in terms of
so
like the way it's set up in sci-fi, I guess. Yeah.
Right. But similar in the case, because in Minority Report, you get a little ball with a person's name in it,
it's like
right?
Lotto.
But it doesn't tell you what's going to happen. Right. In this show, you don't even get a person's name. You just get a social security number.
Oh, okay.
And again, you don't know whether the person is the victim or the perpetrator.
Hence the name.
And you don't know the circumstance. Right, exactly. And you don't know the circumstances of what happened. So the entire episode is kind of trying to figure out why this person was picked by the machine. And so, again, the interesting part is that this machine was created solely for the purpose of rooting out terrorist attacks post 9/11, but it did something very interesting because Michael Emerson's character built it too well that it created another list, what he calls an irrelevant list. So basically, it detects all crime.
Okay.
It doesn't have the ability to figure out whether it's a mass event type of thing, like a terrorist attack, or whether it's just a crime of passion, things of that
Stealing
nature.
candy,
so
maybe.
Exactly.
Okay.
It really doesn't. So what he did was he created this irrelevant list, which is separate, and the government doesn't see it. And what it does is that every midnight it kind of erases itself, and then another list comes the next day, and then in midnight it erases itself. But he found it that he couldn't live with himself knowing that he can help these people, so he kind of built himself a backdoor. And he recruits Jim Caviezel's character to kind of help him out in a sort of like a Batman. He's the Batman, and Michael Emerson's character is kind of Alfred and stuff, and they work in secret. Nobody knows who they are. Everybody refers to Jim Caviezel's character as the Suit because he wears, very nice dress suits and stuff like that. But nobody knows who he is because technically both of these characters are dead to the world. So you get some Batman vibes there, especially Dark Knight, where, you have this machine that is enables to, tap into people's phones and, all this other stuff. So it's a very, very interesting premise. The action is great. The characters are awesome. And like I said, once you get past that first season where it leans heavily toward crime procedural and get into that second season, which really gets into the mythology of the show and really starts leaning into the sci-fi elements of it, that's when the show really, in my opinion, takes off. And again,
interesting.
It's one of these things where I consider it one of the best sci-fi shows ever. I put that up there with Expanse. I put that up there with Battlestar Galactica. I'll put it up there with the very, very short-lived Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles and stuff like
Great
that.
Show.
But if you are into sci-fi, I really, really do recommend this show for you. Again, that first season, you're gonna have to deal with this whole crime thing. Taraji P. Henson's character plays a cop, and she's kind of looking for him. Eventually, in my opinion, she becomes like Commissioner Gordon and stuff, but I'll just leave it at that. But again, you see the elements of Batman, in here and stuff like that. And like I said, you just got to watch the show and give it a chance. I know it's 103 episodes, but it's 103 episodes that you'll come out on the other side and you'll say, wow, that was an amazing show.
Geeking out on an old show and returning to it once again. Sounds fun to me. Sounds fun to me. All right.
There you go.
All right. So that closes us out this week. We had a fun show. Very, very fun show. And I hope that y'all enjoyed it out there. I hope that everybody enjoyed this past episode. We enjoyed certainly geeking out about all this. Before I go, I want to give our last bit of reminders to everyone out there. We did record remotely, so if you have any issues or artifacts, sound issues, or anything else that you hear with the podcast, please feel free to let us know. You can let us know on Instagram, slide into our DMs at Get Geek Podcast. I got my air conditioner on here in the background because it's real hot in New York today. So if you heard it,
so do I.
Don't complain that much. It's almost 90 degrees in New York. What would you be doing if it was this hot, people? Come on, relax. But anyways, the best way to support the podcast crew, this podcast that you got all the way through 108, an hour, 8 minutes, and 50 seconds as I say those words. Thank you for getting to this point with us. If you liked it, please like, rate, share, and subscribe to the Get Geek Podcast. We appreciate that more than anything. Any feedback you can give us, any commenting you can do on our posts is very, very helpful as well. You could game them YouTube algorithms and get more exposure. That's the best way to show some love for your favorite podcast crew. And listen to us wherever any of your favorite podcasts are sold. You can check us out on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and all those great places. Check us out, please. We love you fans out there. Thanks for joining us once again for an episode of the Get Geek podcast, and there is nothing left to say at this point but stay geeky, my friends.
Hey,
Peace.
peace out.